Yo, what is up, guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys, on my lovely day off. And it sure is lovely because the Dodgers just won the World Series, guys. And what an amazing series. What an amazing season. Amazing Game 5. I mean, that stuff really got me nervous. I mean, I really thought that New York would defeat the Dodgers and we'd have to go back to LA. But, destiny's destiny, guys. And really, New York Yankees, I got to say, they put up a good fight. Even if they didn't have the depth that the Dodgers had, I mean, it was a really good fight, guys. And speaking of New York, if you are a New Yorker, you're probably sad and reeling right now. But hey, let's talk about a fragrance that is based in New York for New York. And hopefully this helps you guys. This is the latest Bond number 9 fragrance, which is also their flagship scent. All right, so this is brand new. Maybe a lot of y'all have never heard of this fragrance, and so I took it upon myself to order a sample early and review it. So let's go talk about it today. Let's go. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel, and it also supports all the sample buying that I get, all right? There's a reason why I have a huge library of scents, and that's my aggressive sample buying and trying. I don't do big bottles and such because I don't want to fall into the same trap of spending a lot of money for something that I'm not going to really wear all the time, anyways. And I know a lot of y'all have been asking me about my top 10 or my full bottle top 10s. Eventually that will happen. But right now, there's just a ton of new scents, and this is all to educate y'all on what you can expect before you spend your hard-earned money. And this one is no exception. This one's expensive. This one's exclusive. So same as always, I'll give you guys the lowdown. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Thank you for all your support. And the fragrance that we'll be talking about today is none other than, again, the latest Bond number 9 and also their flagship store scent for their new 5th Avenue location. This is none other than Bond number 9. Bond number 1. Yes, Bond number 1. I don't know if you guys can see the 1 right there, but this is Bond number 1. Sounds like Air Force One, right? And I mean, that's what got me curious about this scent. The name is pretty bold. Bond number 1, New York, right? And first and foremost, I love New York, all right? They may have gone against us in the World Series, but I love New York. I love visiting New York. It's one of those places that once in every other year I prowl these streets. And the fact that Bond number 9 is based in New York, and a lot of the New York areas and streets are referenced in their perfumes, I think is pretty damn sweet. All right. And Bond number 9 might be getting some hate in the mainstream community, but I think that they're very much going strong. They're in every Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue, and they have a lot of flagship stores all over the world. And I think they're well known in the non-fragrance community arena, and people really do buy their scents. And I gotta say, they got some really nice scents. The last scent I reviewed from Bond number 9 was Nomad. And I was one of the only few people at that time that was harping about this scent. I said that was a really great scent. And now people are starting to catch up on that. Now, this one right here, guys, this got me curious, of course, as this is the flagship scent. And it comes in a croc embossed bottle. It looks really great, has like blue and gold. And it really, just by looks alone, looks befitting of a flagship scent title, right? Now, of course, the notes, though. The notes really got me curious because the notes, if you looked at it, are not going to be your standard mainstream lovable notes, all right? And that's one of those big reasons why I was lucky enough to get a sample. Thanks to you guys for liking, subscribing, and funding all of this. Well, I was able to get a sample, and it's usually really hard to get a Bond number 9 sample online, especially if it is a new scent. But apparently, I guess people are selling this or something. So that's really good. Anyways, let's find out what this scent really is about. Is this really befitting a flagship scent, to own? And is this a full bottle worthy type of scent? Let's go spray this thing right now. Okay guys, now let's talk about this fragrance right here, the latest Bond number 9 and flagship scent. This is none other than Bond number 9, Bond number 1, New York. Now, let's start with the opening, and wow, this opening really got me. Actually, it took me maybe 2 or 3 wears of this to really appreciate what I'm smelling right here, because right here in the get-go, the initial note, which is also a core note, that is also the most prominent note, I'd say. There's 3 prominent notes in this scent. It's definitely gonna be your ilang ilang. All right, and ilang ilang is a yellow floral that is really different. Okay, it's not a mainstream known yellow floral. It has like banana-like smelly facets, and the key to understand this ilang ilang opening is that it is creamy. All right, it is creamy and thick and yellow floral with banana-like facets, like I said. And again, this is a note that maybe if you are not open-minded with perfumes and you just try the same stuff that you always have, maybe you haven't bumped into ilang ilang. But ilang ilang is definitely one of the most, I would say, upscale notes, upscale classy notes that are ever placed in a perfume. Roja Dove does this all the time, adds ilang ilang in the mix on almost every perfume that he has, where he has to show you emotionally and mentally the link towards something upscale, classy, and expensive. Now, the thing about Bond number 1 is that it starts with ilang ilang. With Raja Dove, he actually puts ilang ilang mostly in the mid. And, you know, a lot of Raja Dove's like expensive fragrances start off with something else. But with this fragrance, I mean, they didn't really mess around right here, and they didn't go a different route. They're giving you a creamy, comforting yellow floral ilang ilang from the get-go. All right, so immediately you have this upscale, classy feel, if that is how you associate with ilang ilang. But nevertheless, this is the most prominent part, or one of the most prominent parts of this fragrance. Creamy, yellow floral, ilang ilang. Now, also part of this intro is bergamot, but the bergamot right here is slight, all right? It's a very slight mood-enhancing bergamot in the beginning, really blended in, I would say. But again, the strength of the creaminess of the ilang ilang definitely takes over in less than 10 minutes, I'd say. Okay, so you have like a lingering bergamot, but it doesn't mean that this is like a tart bergamot. It actually just gives you a slight mood enhancing start to mix in with the ilang ilang. All right, now again, take note of the creaminess, because the creaminess sets up the warming comfort of this ilang ilang. And almost immediately, actually, the intro notes blend in with the mid notes. And I'm talking about maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Really, you're going to get some jasmine, white floral jasmine that mixes in with this ilang ilang. And this is like a well-known combination, white and yellow florals, like I said, and that denotes classiness, upscale. But the thing is, though, is that you also have some additional warming notes. Almost immediately, like I said, 10 to 15 minutes after the first spray, you're gonna get some tonka bean, guys. And tonka bean is a sweet, hay-like note that really adds more body and warmth into this fragrance right here, okay? But nevertheless, again, prominent part is your yellow and white florals really going into a medley in the beginning part of Bond number 9, Bond number 1, New York. Then the tonka bean adds some sweetening body, some hay-like earthy body here into this intro. And again, it feels comforting. It really feels comforting from the get-go. I guess it is something that, you know, is different from like a mainstream mood enhancer. This one right here, I feel like fall, winter in New York, like walking around the Upper West Side, you know, maybe shopping or going to Soho. This thing right here just adds so much classiness. Again, from the get-go, they're not messing around here. They give you ilang from the get-go, but also something comforting that I guess if you wore a coat or like a cashmere sweater, it would just go perfectly with that whole outfit, guys. All right, so very classy, very upscale. Now in the mid as well, you have musk, and musk is definitely another prominent aspect of this fragrance, and I'm talking about comforting, powdery, slightly sweet musks. And it's really well blended with the tonka bean, like I said, the sweet tonka bean with the medley of yellow and white florals, guys. Okay, so this musk is slightly powdery, makeup-y, I would say thick as well, goes with the creaminess of the ilang ilang. And I guess one of the big questions I had, and a lot of people ask, is what's up with this Bulgarian rose? All right, so there's a Bulgarian rose note that, I mean, I have smelled prominent Bulgarian rose notes, but here, no. The Bulgarian rose is actually very mild or faint and well blended in with the tonka bean and the musk. So no, if you are expecting a rose-centric scent, you will not get it right here, guys. The Bulgarian rose is faint. It's actually just a blend in to just help add body to the mid, but this is by no means, this is not a rose scent. It never goes into a full rose because, like I said, the creamy ylang, the jasmine, the musks really take over in this scent, and it does so for quite a while. The coverage, I'd say, of this initial mix right here of ylang, jasmine, musks, tonka, is really up to 3 hours. All right, so that's a long coverage of this mix. And some people are saying, oh, it's kind of messy. It's not really messy. It's just that the notes are actually prominent, thick, and strong, that certain things like the bergamot and the Bulgarian rose aren't really going to compete with that. They're not going to compete with the yellow creamy florals. They're not going to compete with the musks. All right, and this again goes to me up to 3 hours. Now, by the 3rd hour, you will get Madagascar vanilla, all right, which is, I think, the second prominent thing, or maybe the third at this point, because like I said, first is the yellow floral, second is the musk, third is the Madagascar vanilla. And the thing is, it seamlessly creeps in at the 3rd hour of wearing this fragrance. And it is, of course, creamy vanilla. So the sensation doesn't really change from creamy ilang ilang to creamy vanilla. You know, and it's a really, really nice, smooth continuum. And if you are expecting, you know, some layer changes, some disruptions in the scent, something to really change the flow of this scent, I guarantee you won't find it here. It is definitely a flowy, nice continuum of this entire scent. And 3 hours in, one of my favorite notes, like I said, creamy Madagascar vanilla comes into this scent. Okay, so now let's talk about the dry down here of Bond number 9, Bond number 1, New York. Oh my God, what a tongue twister. All right, so again, Madagascar vanilla starts off at the 3 hour mark and really goes until the end. All right, this Madagascar vanilla note goes until the very end of this fragrance, and really what's left are just, you know, galvanizing notes that just add more body or continuum into the scent. Cashmere wood, which is basically musks and woods, I mean basically continues on from the powdery musks, the almost cosmetic type musks in the mid of the fragrance, and it's well blended in that creamy sweet vanilla right here. And then you have some slight patchouli, all right, a nice patchouli modifier that is, you know, woody and tenacious, but it's not even really that strong. I feel like it's a dark like addition to the ending of this fragrance, kind of giving it a nighttime feel with that vanilla and the musks. And I would say that this entire ending, right, it lasts all the way, you know, all the way, guys. So if you are expecting like a very complex dry down, I don't think you'll get it here. But at the same time, if you are looking for something that you can easily understand and easily identify as a nice like vanilla musk comforting ending, then you'll like this dry down definitely. Okay, so what is my verdict on Bond number 9, Bond number 1, New York? Okay, first and foremost, you gotta look at it from the perspective of, you know, this is a flagship store type of perfume. And, you know, with that being said, this is something that, you know, if you were in Fifth Avenue, right, it would already give you the vibes to shop. And you know how beautiful New York is. I mean, really, Fifth Avenue, Upper West Side, like all these places are just iconic. And, if you're down there and you've got money to spend and you're a perfume person, I mean, I can see people really going for this, all right? Much like how Harrods does it in their Salon de Parfum. So a lot of the brands or houses in Harrods, they have their own exclusives there as well, because it heightens the sensation of shopping. If you're shopping and you really like perfumes, I mean, you'll bump into this and there's a high chance that you might just buy it right off the bat. Whether or not it is, a fragrance that it's your preference or it's something you always like. Like I said, this one right here denotes classiness, and it is an upscale grabber indefinitely. And with that being said, it really matches the vibe of Fifth Avenue and other affluent, upscale areas of New York. And if you are that type of person that loves prowling these streets, and you love traveling maybe, and you would always like to smell very expensive and classy, I think that this is definitely a good bet. Now, with that being said, this is a scent that is not for everyone, all right, because it is an upscale grabber. Although it has elements that I would say a lot of people would like, such as Madagascar vanilla and musks, the Ylang is definitely, something else. It's definitely a wild card that I would say check first or try first before you buy. But if you are used to buying, Rojas and other fragrances that have this beautiful yellow floral, then without a doubt, this might be something y'all want to try. All right. And definitely, guys, for me, this is a femme-leaning fragrance. And that was the shocker there, because the bottle, the name, I mean, like I said, it sounded like Air Force One, Bond number 1. It felt like a masculine fragrance that comes in a blue croc bottle. So I really thought this was going to be like another Nomad, which also came in a blue bottle, but it turns out it's actually a femme-leaning fragrance. Pretty obvious because it's ylang, musks, and of course vanilla, which a lot of women love. This is geared for an upscale woman, 100%. I would say any age, or maybe like mid-20s and up, somebody that's more experienced. I'm not going to say mature. You could be actually mid-20s and wear this thing. But it is definitely geared for someone that wants to smell expensive and classy. Definitely for a woman. I mean, I don't know if guys can pull this off. It's too femme, it's too femme. Even down the line, it's Madagascar vanilla patch and musks. I think that this is definitely a femme-leaning fragrance. Okay, now let's talk about sillage and projection and total performance of this fragrance. This fragrance is a thick fragrance that is geared for the fall-winter season. I can definitely imagine fall in New York wearing this fragrance. A classy lady with a beautiful outfit, drenched in this, all right, for comfort and an upscale smell, all right, definitely for the fall, all right, fall or winter, guys. It is thick enough that you have a consistent lingering sillage and a draw-in scent while you are wearing Bond number 1 New York. Now, total performance, this one exceeded my expectations. This one went really past 13 hours, all right? And that's something that I would say Bond number 9, they're not really weak at. They're really good at performance. So this one right here will last past 12 hours, guys. And again, beautiful, seamless continuum, easy to understand if you know your ylang and you know your musk and you know your vanilla. Not too many changes here, all right? It's a nice, creamy, sweet, musky continuum in this scent. And let's talk about total price, guys. As many bonds, this is $460 for 100 ml. I think that if you like it, if you can see this as your upscale grabber as a woman, without a doubt, I think that this is a full bottle worthy scent. And that's the reason why there's a lot of positive reviews about this scent from a lot of ladies. I don't know any guys that really would recommend this full bottle. But as a woman, I'd say if you're looking for an upscale grabber and you try this and you like this, $460 with really good performance and an easy to understand, continuum is something that is full bottle worthy in my opinion. And that is it. That is my no hype review on the latest Bond number 9, Bond number 1 New York fragrance, the flagship fragrance for their new Fifth Avenue location. Man, I miss New York. I really want to go back there actually. And I want to wear comforting upscale fragrances while I'm strolling Soho or Fifth Avenue. All right. I love these places. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, or guys and gals, and I know that we have an increasing amount of, female subscribers. Thank you so much for your feedback. I mean, the women really are putting the most feedback or commenting back on a lot of my videos. Thank you so much, ladies, for commenting. Hopefully you guys can get a sample of this. I got this from eBay, I think. I don't know, eBay or Etsy for less than $20. But I'm sure if you can get it from the Bond Number 9 stores or even a Neiman, I'm sure they can give it away, especially if you buy other fragrances there. All right, so let me know in the comments below what y'all think of this fragrance, guys and gals. And again, I'll see you guys on the next video tomorrow. I mean, hopefully my packages arrive because I got a lot of fragrances that I really want to talk about. And I lined them up already on the community tab. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. God bless. Take care. Peace.